Alright guys, so the audio in this part of the video got really messed up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a voiceover. Now we're going to mount this graphic on the back fender. And what I plan on doing is basically showing you guys how to do the rear fender, and then we're going to time-lapse the rest of this. So doing graphics is something that I never have ever enjoyed. I don't have the patience for it, and I can't stand it. But get yourself a heat gun, a rag, and you know, clean everything up super nice. You want to make sure that it's like ultra clean, super clean if you want to say, and you know, just to make sure that you've got a really good surface for all the graphics to adhere to, and you can make sure that you're not going to get any peeling or anything other than that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually go grab some of the cleaner and clean down this rear fender to get any kind of greases and oils and, you know, stuff from your fingers and dirt and particles and all that stuff off of it, so that when we lay down the graphic is actually going to, one, adhere properly, two, it's not going to have any dirt underneath it that's going to show through on the graphic, and it's going to give us the ability also afterwards to be able to spray both the graphic and the fender with soapy water and use a small squeegee to get all of the air bubbles out. Now, this is the part that I always hate, because no matter how well I do these things, I always end up with air bubbles. So, me being a rap guy or a vinyl guy, forget it. I don't have the patience for it. I create air bubbles everywhere, and it's just an absolute nightmare. So with this one, we're going to start by peeling the backing off of the graphic, being super careful not to tear the graphic. And now that we got that off of there, we're going to take the spray bottle and actually shoot it with some soapy water. And this is just Dawn dish soap and a little bit of soapy water. We'll shoot the fender, and then we'll go ahead and shoot the actual graphic itself. And then when we put this down on the fender, we're going to be able to move it around and do everything that we need to do to manipulate this thing without getting stuck for a shot and having to peel it off and potentially stretch the crap out of the graphic. So usually what I look for are anchor points. Now, the fender in the rear has a center point, and then it's got two outer points, and this graphic also has the cutouts for the little bolts on the seat that you can line it up with. Now, we're going to try to anchor it at the corners as best we can, and then we're going to go ahead and hit it with the heat gun. And by hitting it with the heat gun, we're going to allow that graphic to soften up, and it'll start to adhere. And also by hitting it with the heat gun, it dries out a little bit of the soap and water. Kind of helps you get things stuck down in place so that you can start working your way from the center out with the little squeegee and, you know, getting it good to go. And you can see here that I'm kind of starting by trying to anchor the center of it, just so that when I hit it with the heat gun, it doesn't start moving around. And you want to be super careful. Go right from the inside to the outside and try to squeeze some of that soap and water out of there. And you can see we're going right from the middle to the out. And then we're going to try to adhere it down at the rear. And you can see here I probably should have already heated this thing up, but again, my inexperience with graphics and vinyl and everything else, and just completely hating every bit of what I'm doing, has pretty much stopped me from heating this up already. It's always great when you watch videos that you've pre-recorded and you're doing a voiceover to something that's just, ugh, you're looking at it like, man, I wish I was better at that. But I don't wish I was better at that, because I suck at it and I don't like it. But yeah, at this point I'm screaming at myself going, hey, dum-dum, grab the heat gun. Grab the heat gun, because you're fighting with something that you don't need to be fighting with if you just heat it up a little bit. But anyway, I may or may not make you suffer through the rest of you know, me trying to stick this thing down, and we might just get to the point where we break out the heat gun and heat this thing up so that we can get it to stick down. And oh, look at that. There you go, JP. You grabbed the heat gun. Congratulations. And you can see you hit it with a little bit of heat and it immediately starts forming to whatever surface you've got it on. So that's the wonderful thing about these thick dirt bike graphics, is you put a little bit of heat on them and it turns into basically just a very super pliable vinyl that you can stick down nice and easy. And now that we got some heat in it, look at that. It's sticking down pretty good. Add a little bit more heat. You don't want to overheat it, because if you overheat it, you can melt them, and then they start distorting and stretching and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And again, please don't take any of this advice as coming from an expert, because of that I am not. And although I felt like I did a really good job on this whole thing, there's a real lot of bubbles that I am now just resorted to poking with pins and trying to squeeze the air out of them, because I'm just not that good. So yeah, keep hitting it with a little bit of heat, you know, get it to conform to where you need it to conform to, and you should be able to do a pretty decent job of it. These graphic kits aren't really all that expensive. I think I paid about 180 bucks for this one. It's a company on eBay called SENGE Graphics, S-E-N-G-E, and the graphics are beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. The cuts are great. The graphics themselves are vivid and well printed, and everything looks amazing. So I probably did this poor gentleman a disservice by installing his graphics so horribly, but in the end they did come out pretty good. You know, I am pretty proud of what I did. I didn't give up and set anything on fire, which usually happens, or you know, me taking a graphics kit and getting halfway through it and then throwing it in the trash because I get fed up with it. But now it's time to add just a little bit more heat to the other side. I'll try to get that to lay down properly. And by this time, the water and the soap on the back of it are starting to dry out a little bit. So your options of moving this graphic around are pretty much slim to none. So it's super important to find some anchor points like we did in the beginning and just line everything up and get a certain small portion of it stuck down to where if you need to peel it up like we just did there, you have that ability. If you stick it down completely, then you're going to end up in a situation where you have to peel the graphic off. And because these graphics are so strong and they stick so well, look at that, we got a package. We were waiting for that. The graphics are so strong when it comes to the adhesive that's on the back of them. As you try to peel them, you're going to ruin them. You're going to stretch them out. You're going to distort the graphic. It's not going to fit right. The cuts are not going to fit right. So make sure that you have everything lined up exactly where you need it before you go ahead and start hitting it with the heat gun and drying out the soap and water and everything else, because your chances of peeling this off are very limited. So again, we're just going at it with the little spreader and kind of getting it and working it around the edges and around the corners. And don't be afraid to use your fingers just to kind of push some stuff down, and you know, try to squeeze as much of that water out of there as you possibly can, because if you create an air pocket, it's not only going to be an air pocket, but it's going to be a water pocket as well. And although these graphics are self-healing and breathable, not all that water is going to come out. So like you can see here, we're really trying to squeeze a lot of that water out so that we can get some good adhesion. And again, the heat will help with that significantly. So now I don't know if you guys noticed as well from the last video. In the last video we had a red Honda seat cover on the bike, and now we have a black Enjoy seat cover. The red seat cover looked nice on the stock bike, but I noticed that as I started putting the graphics up against it and seeing what they were going to look like, the red seat was just way too much red. So a friend of mine happened to have this seat cover laying around because he had just changed to a white one, and it looks pretty good on the bike. I didn't tape that or record that because it was just a quick, a quick little job. But so now we're just kind of wiping away some of the excess water, trying to dry things out a little bit. And you'll see as we go on with this project, I make it start to look a little bit easier. We had some trouble with the right hand side of the bike. It was creating all kinds of bubbles and all kinds of other stuff, and I don't think I filmed that. I don't think I time-lapsed that, but I guess we'll find out in the actual time-lapse if I did or not. But that's one of those things that, you know, again, if you don't do it every day, then you're not going to get good at it. It's just like anything else. You have to practice, and I do a graphics kit once every 10 years. So this was a project for me, and you guys are getting the benefit of seeing how poorly I can do this. But alright, so we got the whole back piece installed, and we'll show it to you now so that you can see what it looks like. And the back piece I was actually super proud of because it didn't have any bubbles in it whatsoever. There was one little bubble towards the back that I ended up working out in the end, but overall it's lined up. Everything fits like it should. The cutouts are great. Everything looking really good, and should be good to go. So we're going to go ahead and time-lapse the rest of this, and yeah. Alright guys, well this sucker is finally done. I can't tell you how much I hated doing this. It was a lot. I am definitely not a vinyl guy, nor do I claim to be, nor do I play one in the movies. So, the next time this needs to be done, I think I'll leave it up to someone else. But in the meantime, I hope you guys really enjoyed the nice little time lapse that I did where the camera went dead in the middle of it. You know, those are always pretty cool. And then, you know, the random people that come in the shop all day long while I'm trying to get stuff done. But again, whatever, it is what it is. So we got it done. I think I spent probably 4 hours, maybe 3-4 hours knocking this out. It came out pretty good. I mean, there's definitely some, you know, minor areas where there's some bubbling and I accidentally tore it right in that groove right there, but this graphic wasn't made for this fender, so we had some interesting times with that one. I didn't put the graphic on the headlight shroud yet because I think I'm going to actually get a new one because this one is kind of busted up. It looks like somebody crashed this bike at one point, but again, it's a dirt bike, so they get crashed every now and then, and what we picked this thing up for, I can't really complain too much, but got all these graphics done on the sides, graphic there, and all the stuff all the way back. The swing arm ones were probably the hardest out of all of them, trying to get them around the little portion of the swing arm that's bumped out or raised up. That wasn't fun at all. Well, yeah, so here you go. Enjoy some cinematic footage. All right, so there you go. Graphics all completed. So let's do the tally on this. So far, we have done the black seat cover. We did our cobbled together FMF exhaust. We still need to do a header. Haven't decided if I'm gonna make one or if I'm gonna buy one. Haven't even decided if I'm staying with the FMF yet, but that's done. We did the full graphics kit. We did a little bit of headlight repair because it was missing some bolts, so we fixed that. We did some nice little carbon protector plates here, or foot guards, or whatever you want to call them. And we did the TST rear tail light, which you can't see because it's smoked, which was the whole purpose. But next thing on the list is we ordered up our Supermoto wheels. So I don't know if you guys know this, but in the thick of things that are going on right now with coronavirus and everybody wanting to get motorcycles, not only has the price of everything shot up, but the availability has gone down significantly. So getting any kind of, you know, parts for on-road motorcycles at this point is damn near impossible. I called around to get some Warp 9 Supermoto wheels for these, and they were anywhere from 6 to 8 to 12 weeks out, which obviously is unacceptable. Now, I suppose if I wasn't, you know, trying to build this thing at the beginning of spring when everybody else is trying to build one, that we wouldn't have this problem. But I just bought it a few weeks ago and I need to get wheels. So finally got a hold of the guys over at Moto X Industries. They were amazing. So they're, well, I should say, I purchased a set of wheels from them, and they are getting everything together, and we should hopefully see that stuff in about a week. But by the time you guys see this video, it'll probably be the next day that we're getting these, because we're going to release all 4 of these videos or all 3 of these videos in one shot. And so you get to see the install of the Supermoto wheels. But in the meantime, before you see that video, go check out Moto X Industries. I'll link them down in the description, and show them some support, you know, if you're buying stuff for your bike, because they showed me a lot of support and they're getting me these wheels quick, fast, like you wouldn't believe. So go to Moto X Industries, check them out, And we will see you guys on the next video where we will be installing the Supermoto wheels and getting rid of the big old knobbies. So enjoy. Have a good night, guys.